Good morning, children. When we last met, we did an introduction to the play, The Tempest. Today we are going to begin the play, but before we begin, we need to discuss certain background elements which are important. Now, about the play, with The Tempest, Shakespeare turns to fantasy and magic as a way to explore romantic love, sibling hatred, and the love of a father for his child. In addition, The Tempest examines many of the topics that Shakespeare had focused on in his earlier plays. Topics such as attempt to overthrow a king. For example, Macbeth, Richard II, and Julius Caesar. Then, nature versus nurture. For example, The Winter's Tale and King Lear, and innocence in the play Twelfth Night. Now let us discuss the structure of the play, The Tempest. The Tempest, although is one of Shakespeare's shortest plays, still maintains the integrity of the five-act structure. In fact, most Elizabethan theatre adheres to the five-act structure, which corresponds to divisions in the action. The first act is the exposition, in which the playwright sets forth the problem and introduces the main characters. In The Tempest, the first act establishes the nature of Antonio's betrayal of Prospero, and it explains how Prospero and Miranda came to live on this island. This first act also opens with a violent storm, which establishes the extent of Prospero's power. Most of the play's remaining characters also make an appearance in this act. Now, this is something very important. It is the social class in The Tempest. Now, in England at that time, society was governed by a class system. That is, at the top was the royalty, that is the kings and the queens and their family members. Then came the nobility, that is the noblemen, like ministers of the king. Below them were the gentry. They were generally rich people but not nobles. For example, wealthy landowners. Below them were the yeomanry, which were basically middle class people. Example, brave men generally from the British Army. Below them and at the bottom were the peasantry, means the small farmers and the agricultural laborers. The Elizabethans also believed in a natural hierarchy of things, like God is at the top, then kings, then men, then women, and at last the beasts. These classes dictated how higher class people treated the lower class. Now, these are the few things which you should have known as a background before the play begins. Please take a note of this chart. It will come handy as we will study Act 1, Scene 1. Next, before we again move on to the text, we will discuss some of the themes. Out of the various themes that are covered in this play, some of the important themes are slavery, colonialism, revolution, despotism, obedience and submission, supernatural, love, betrayal, compassion and forgiveness, and loyalty. Now we have done the background as well as the themes. Now just a quick revision of the characters. Now, though we have already done this earlier, the character list is first Alonso, who is the king of Naples, followed by Ferdinand, his son, Sebastian, who is the brother of Alonso, Prospero, the rightful Duke of Milan, Antonio, Prospero's brother, the usurping Duke of Milan, Gonzalo, an honest old counselor. Next is Adrian and Francisco, who are the lords. Next, Trincolo, who is a jester or a clown. Stefano, a drunken butler. Then master of the ship, bosun, and mariners. Now all these people are there on the ship. Apart from that, the other characters are Caliban, a savage and deformed slave. Savage means uncivilized. Miranda, the daughter of Prospero. Ariel, an airy spirit. Apart from that, there is Iris, Cirrus, Juno, nymphs, and reapers. They are all different spirits. Now see, this drama basically has just two cities to consider. One is Naples, where Alonso is the king, and the other place is Milan, where Prospero was the duke, but Antonio has removed Prospero by tricks and has become the Duke of Milan himself. So basically, two places, Naples and Milan. And there is one more place in the drama, that is the island on which the entire drama is staged. Okay. So now we begin the play. We begin with the text. Please open The Tempest, Act 1, Scene 1. The play opens with a shipwreck. The passengers are distinguished personalities. They include Alonso, the King of Naples, Sebastian, his brother, Antonio, the usurping Duke of Milan, Ferdinand, the son of Alonso, Gonzalo, an honest old counselor, and others. So these people are all on board, and their ship has met with a storm. Now they are coming back from Tunis in Africa, where Alonso's daughter Claribel has been married. A furious storm is blowing together with the noise of thunder and lightning. There seems to be no hope of survival. Most of the passengers are screaming and shouting in desperation. The storm, representing chaos, violence, and disruption, gives the play its title, that is, The Tempest. Now please concentrate on the text. Act 1, Scene 1. On board a ship at sea, a storm with thunder and lightning. Enter master and bosun. Now please note this word, it is not boatswain, it is bosun. Now the master, consider him to be the head of the ship, the person who is managing the entire ship, and bosun is probably the captain of the ship. Master, bosun, here master, what cheer? So master calls out bosun. Bosun says, here I am here master. What cheer means what do you want, or What is your pleasure? What can I do for you? Master. Good. Speak to the mariners. So here the mariners are the sailors. He says, okay, good. Talk to your sailors. Fall taut yale, or we run ourselves aground. Means start doing your work quickly. Tell the mariners to start doing their work quickly, or we run ourselves aground, or we will face a shipwreck because the ship will hit shallow water. So basically he's asking bosun to talk to his mariners that they should start working fast, otherwise they may move into shallow water and the ship may get wrecked. Bester means hurry, dash, do quickly whatever you have been asked to do. Enter mariners. Bosun. Hey, my heart. Means hey is a more, it's like more of an giving an encouragement to these people, like something like, come on men, let's do it. My heart means brave sailors. So he says, come on my brave sailors, cheerly, work happily. My heart. So he says, you're close to my heart, let's do it, let's work fast and try to save the ship. Year means faster. Take in the topsail. Now what is a topsail? He's talking about a ship. Now what is a topsail? A topsail is, now if this is a boat, this part of the boat or the sail is called the topsail. So he's asking the mariners to take care of this topsail, because if they don't, the ship may move towards a place where the water is shallow. Take in the topsail. Tend to the master's whistle. Tend means attend, listen. Listen to what the master is saying. And what was master saying? Master was saying, speak to the mariners, fall rot yet lay, or we run ourselves aground. Means if we don't work fast now, we may move on to a place where the water is shallow and the ship may get destroyed. So he says, listen to what the master has said and do accordingly. Exit mariners. And the bosun continues, blow till thou burst thy wind, if room enough. Write down the meaning. Blow, he's talking to the storm here. He says, O storm, blow till you burst, but do so provided there is enough space to accommodate the ship. So he's saying to the storm that you may blow as much as you want, but please keep some space for the ship to move out safely. As he says this, enters Alonso, Sebastian, Antonio, Ferdinand, Gonzalo and others. Just to remind you, try to recollect who is Alonso. Alonso is the king of Naples. Who is Sebastian? Sebastian is the brother of Alonso. Who is Antonio? Antonio is the brother of Prospero, the usurping Duke of Milan. Ferdinand is the son of Alonso, and Gonzalo is the old counselor. Now, from where are they coming in this ship? They are coming back to Naples. They are coming back to Naples after attending the wedding of Alonso's daughter, where? In Tunis, in Africa. Clear? So we move on. Alonso. Good bosun, have care. Means he's talking to bosun. please be careful. Where is the master? Play the men. Where is the master? Play the men means make these men show courage and work hard. Who are the men here? They are the mariners or the sailors. So he's saying, good bosun means dear bosun, have care, be careful. Where is the master? So, and he says, ask your men to work and show courage in this time of the storm. Bosun, I pray now, keep below. So bosun is trying to save the ship and he is concerned about the ship. So he says, I pray you, Sir Alonso, please keep down, means please go down to your cabin. Do not interfere in the process of saving the ship. We are already working hard. Once bosun replies to Alonso, Antonio says, where is the master, bosun? So they are still asking about the master. So bosun replies, he says, do you not hear him? Who is him here? It is the master. Because just now he was questioned, where is the master? So he says, do you not hear him? Means hear him doing what? Giving orders to save the ship. You mar our labor. Means you are getting in the way of our work. Means we are trying to save the ship in this bad condition, and when you come up and ask questions, you are disturbing us and thereby you are getting in the way of our work. Keep your cabins means please go down to your cabins and stay there. You do assist the storm means instead of helping us by coming here and asking questions and bothering us, you are assisting the storm to take over the ship, which finally means we will have a shipwreck. Gonzalo, nay good, be patient. He says, no, good sir, please be patient. So he says, bosun, please be patient and listen to what is being said. So Gonzalo asks bosun to be patient. Bosun, when the sea is, means he says, I will be patient, I will take rest when the sea rests, means when the storm subsides. Hence, what cares these roarers for the name of a king? So he says, what do these storms care if we are carrying a king? Means the storm will not stop just because we are carrying the king. So he says, when the sea will be silent, then only I will be patient. Till that time I have to work hard to save the ship. To cabin, silence, trouble us not. So he says, please go to the cabin and maintain silence. Do not trouble us. To this, Gonzalo replies, good, means I am happy that you're trying to save the ship. Yet remember, but remember, whom thou hast aboard, means yet remember whom you have as passengers on this ship. So who are the passengers? The king and the noblemen and others. So he says you should be careful who all are traveling in this boat and do accordingly. To this bosun replies, none that I more love than myself. So he says, in this time of crisis, I do not care who else is there in the ship. I do not love anyone more than myself at this moment. So I first want to live, and then you all will live. You are a counselor. So Bosun says to Gonzalo, you are a counselor. Counselor means king's advisor. If you can command these elements to silence, so the elements here are the wind, wave, storm, ocean, everything. So he's saying you are a counselor. If you can ask these elements to become silent and work the peace of the present, and if you can ask them to calm down the weather, we will not hand a rope more, means we will not have to handle the rope to stable the ship. So he says to Gonzalo, you are a counselor. If you can talk to these elements, that is the wind, waves, storm, ocean, etc., and ask them to calm down the weather, we will not be required to handle the rope to make the ship stable, means we will not have to work. If you are so powerful, go and talk to these elements and ask them to calm down. Use your authority. If you cannot, means you use your authority as a counselor. But if you cannot, give thanks. But you have lived so long. So he's saying, try your authority. You have the authority. Talk to the elements. Try to calm down the weather. But if you cannot, thank God that you have lived so long. Means you must thank God that you are still living in this condition which is so bad. And make yourself ready in your cabin for the mischance of the hour. Means if you should be thankful that you're still alive, and go down to the cabin for the mischance of the hour, means for the disaster the next hour may bring. Means if they meet a shipwreck, then the disaster that may come. If it so happens, means if we meet with a shipwreck, that's all. Now the next line he continues to talk to his mariners. He says, cheerly, good hearts, out of our way, I say. Means he's addressing the mariners to continue with brave hearts and try to save the ship. And then he adds, out of our way, I say. So he says to all the people who are standing on the deck, please go out of our way, go down, stay in the cabin and pray. We are trying our best to save the ship. Gonzalo, I have great comfort from this fellow. Means I feel good after talking to this man, that is the bosun. Methinks he hath no drowning marks on him. So he says, here the phrase drowning mark is referring to no chance to die by drowning. So he says, I can see this fellow will not die by drowning. His complexion here means his appearance, is perfect gallows. Gallows means his appearance is a good indication of someone who deserves to be hanged and not a person who will die by drowning. Stand fast means stick to the fate. Stand fast, good fate means, dear good fate, please stand to whatever has been decided. So this person will not drown and die, rather he will be hanged to death. So what is the importance of this statement? It means that if the bosun is not drowning and he is safe, all the people on the ship will also be saved. So that is the reason Gonzalo is requesting fate to stand fast, means to stick to whatever has been decided. So stand fast with what? To his hanging. Means please ensure that he is hanged to death rather than drowned and dying. Make the rope of his destiny our cable for our own doth. Means let the rope by which he is going to be hanged be the destiny of our cable. Let that rope be the destiny by which we will all be saved from drowning. So if bosun is not drowned and he is to be hanged, automatically he saves the whole ship and everybody on the ship will not be drowned. So he's requesting fate to stick to it, and he's saying let the rope of his destiny be our cable for our own doth little advantage. For our own advantage. Own advantage means that we will be saved from this shipwreck. We will not get killed. At the end he adds, if he be not born to be hanged, our case is miserable. He says, if he means if the bosun is not born to be hanged, means he is not going to die by being hanged, then our case is miserable. Means in that case we are in a miserable state, because if he drowns, we drown with him. Exit. Now a quick explanation of this line which I have just discussed, that is from Gonzalo. If you can see the number, I'm talking about line number 28 to 34. I feel comforted by the presence of this man. I think there are no signs to show that he will be drowned. His appearance shows that he will die by hanging. O fate, do not change the mode of his death, and do let him die by hanging. Only his destiny, which is to die by hanging, can now save us, because our own destiny can help us little. If this man is not to die by hanging, then we are doomed. Means then we are also going to die. With that, we come to the end of today's session. I suggest you go through the introduction which I had done in your class. There were 2 parts. Kindly go through both of them, and once again, when you get time, revise this Act 1, Scene 1, which we have done till line number 35. Thank you so much. Stay blessed.